You're listening to the Beer Craft Beer and Brewing Podcast. Tune in every Wednesday night at 6:30 Pacific for a dose of beer and brewing banter with your hosts, Ben Holm and Andrew Ziegler.
So hop aboard for some wit and wisdom in the Pacific Northwest, because it's always beer 30 on
The Beer Craft.
Tonight, we start with a mystery printed in 6 words from a Northwest brewery. Why East 1332, no name on it, just a hint.
Man, I wanted that name. I wanted the beer. So I followed the thread. It led to Hales Ales and a pale ale that helped start this whole thing here in Washington.
So no recipe, no hotline, just old notes and memories?
We built a map anyways. Maris Otter, a touch of victory, a little Crystal 40, Cascade on a short leash, 1332 to tie it to the region.
Sounds great. Let's run the hunt from first clue to first sip.
Not so fast, Andrew. Isn't there something we've forgotten?
Oh, yeah.
That's a little thing we like to call Beer 30.
All right.
How did that Beer 30 sound? Do we keep it?
We'll check it out.
Yeah, fuck it.
I'll go and review all kinds.
Andrew, how the fuck are you, man?
How the hell are you? I'm good.
I'm doing okay. I'm a little tired. I'm a lot tired.
I'm a lot tired. I'm a bit tired too.
Yeah.
I think there's shit going around, like something in the air that just like little tired bug.
A little bit of the smoke. My granddaughter's got a little cold.
Yeah.
She's probably sharing with me.
Oh my God, it's been smoky for weeks though. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Looks nasty.
Less oxygen.
Yeah, I'm starving of oxygen.
O2 starved.
Yeah, I got
Let's get some CO2 in
We got to
here.
have some beer. This is thirsty work here. What are we pouring?
Well, in my fancy box that I ordered from a mail order beer app.
What was the app?
Is
Insert name here.
yeah.
Tabor.
So it's
not a sponsor of the show, but hey, if you're listening out there, we
That's
would
right.
love some of that
That's
sponsorship money.
right.
You betcha.
We will sponsor you in a heartbeat.
We'll plug your shit all the time.
Okay, this is a Heritage Rice Lager.
Heritage.
gonna be
Heritage is the brewing
gonna be
company.
No, maybe. No, it just says Heritage Rice Lager, like it's a heritage grain. The rice lager in a class of its own. We brew this with Heritage Carolina Gold rice to give this traditionally light and crisp style, added depth and flavor. New World Pacifica hops, they lend a pleasant lime note to this.
Okay.
So if we tasting or smelling lime, it's...
I get a calls for Pacifica quite often. I've never got to play with it because it's not generally been available, which is a bummer. It's got a lime note. That sounds good. Who is the brewery, by the way? As you pour and occupy your hand. Haven't looked that far. It's a pretty can. We'll take a picture. Put it in the show notes, maybe. If I remember to actually fucking do it.
Threes Brewing.
Threes Brewing.
Threes Brewing. Let me see. Threes Brewing. It is Farmingham, Maine.
Oh, it's been on the road for a bit. A little hazy.
That's cool.
Like a little. I don't know if that's like
got a little haze, yeah.
kind of thing.
Chill haze, or maybe it had to settle in the can and
cooked it up,
came back out.
It smells good.
Smells good.
Kind of like malty. There's a kind of a lime note aroma.
No, that's good. It's like I get that lime sweetness kind of at the sides of my tongue, on the sides of my mouth.
It's really good. It's clean and light. I got a little lime on the nose. I don't get a ton in the flavor profile.
Floral.
I definitely get some of that.
And that floral light, very light.
There's that rice lager. Like I think about rice lagers, and like Sapporo's got that little edge that like I don't know if it's sulfur from the yeast or what exactly that note is, but it's like makes me like now I'm drinking a fucking rice lager, and this does not have that, which I'm okay with that. It's still a good beer. I would drink another one.
Yeah, it's kind of like close to that other rice lager that we had. It was 5 months ago. It was at the beginning of the year.
Well, I know we brought in the Chuckanut rice lager.
Yeah, it was one you wanted to try.
Let's see.
Can we remember?
Did Frame do a rice lager? Maybe that was it. I don't recall. I would have to go back and listen to a bunch of the show.
Yeah, it was a good brewery.
Hey, if you're listening out there and you can remember what the hell rice lagers we've tried on this show, send us a message. I'll buy you a beer. You can email us at brew@nwbrew.
I think I did it, Ben.
No.
Wow, back to beer 30 here. We talked a whole bunch, and
Goddamn.
and we talked a whole bunch and drank this
whole beer, and y'all missed it. My mini apologies, right?
Oh, back to drinking a beer. I can't even remember what we were talking about.
We were talking about your cider,
right?
You had that cider you pressed.
That's right.
Last
So
week.
we had the neighborhood cider press. My neighbor Scott has this old press that's 110 years old. Very cool. I mean, manual press and manual.
Sure.
It has a big flywheel on it and the macerator, and then you got to go and you got to press it in the wooden slatted barrel and all that. And I brought some Asians, some of my Asian pears over there.
Have another beer in here.
I know.
Some Pagans, huh?
Some
That's
Pagans.
fucking good.
That's not a fruit slur. Sorry. And hey, shut up, everyone.
It's the peanut gallery.
Cough button. And
Dog button.
yeah, I got some good cider out of it. I have some in the fridge, and I took some of my black. Hush! Damn it! Then I took some of my blackberries I'm growing out front on my big seed.
Oh yeah, that is it's a
thornless
nice
blackberry.
It's a nice like pink hue to it.
It is. I threw a whole bunch in, froze them, macerated them, squish them all out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's been about a week and a day, week and a day since I
Yeah, I
threw
mean,
the
it
yeast in there.
looks like the yeast is settling nicely on the bottom there. It's probably not bubbling much anymore.
Nope. I
so-
put the yeast nutrient in there as well
Oh,
when I threw
good stuff. Yeah,
when
yeah.
I pitched the yeast. Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, just let it sit. It boiled for a week. And,
Yeah, you taking a gravity on it?
No, I don't have any. You know me. I broke my
Your
hydrometer.
Yeah. It's called paying dues. It's a little sacrifice to the gods. Right?
Yep, always.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not really I'm not really a stickler on too much of
Are you gonna be
checking
kegging
it out. No, I'm gonna bottle it up.
That's that's
bottle it.
probably one of the better reasons for checking it out is because you're bottling it. Imagine if something did go wrong. I mean, there's 4 reasons the airlock stops moving. Only one of them is good, right? Only one of them means it's
when
done.
it's done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anecdotally,
I'm pretty sure it's done.
bottled bombs happen at like 3 a.m.
Right.
Chances are very good. You've got nutrient, you've got sugar, yeast have done their job. You had healthy yeast. Probably okay, but not checking it.
And then I want to add
Boy,
potassium
howdy,
sorbate to it, so it kills all the yeast, so I can back sweeten it a little
sorbate
bit.
doesn't exactly kill the yeast.
Okay, I'll do the Camden tablet first.
And it doesn't kill the yeast either. So their primary function, Camden tablet, is potassium metabisulfite, and it prevents yeast from metabolizing sugars and multiplying.
So it'll stop it.
It'll stop
It'll
a ferment.
stop the yeast.
Yep.
Stop the ferment.
And then sorbate prevents it from starting again. Right, because sulfite off gases over 24, 36 hours, and that's why you'll see so many like wine recipes or cider recipes. You're gonna add your Camden tablets, wait 24 hours, and then add your yeast. Really, that product is just giving you a head start. Creates sulfur dioxide, which prevents yeast and bacteria from metabolizing sugars, and it gives the yeast a chance. Because they're going to go through a lag phase where they're not,
Right.
it sounds like they're not doing anything, but they're really taking up nutrients, getting ready for the job of work. Once they get going, they create more sulfur dioxide, which prevents everybody else from
coming back.
Yeah. So that's cool. During fermentation, they're the ones, they're biological bullies. They're kind of owning their turf and not letting anybody else play on that in the yard. But sorbate, because sulfite is going to wear off, essentially, or off gas to atmosphere, sorbate prevents fermentation from starting again. But it doesn't really kill you.
It doesn't do
They
it.
die all by themselves.
Okay.
You settle
So
out
I
and go by it.
got to give it the double whammy.
Yeah, if you're going to be adding sugar,
Got it.
you're going to have still cider or uncarbonated cider, so you don't have to worry about bottle bombs because you're going to be adding sugar,
Right,
stabilizing. So
Yep.
yeah, no, that should be
Kind of where
pretty
I'm
good.
at.
Yeah. Some of that murkiness, some of that may settle out. There are clarifiers you can go with. You may have some pectins in there that are causing some of that haze.
Yep.
Yeah, those so a little pectinase or pectic enzyme will drop that.
I always wonder if I should do that prior to secondary, or because if I want a secondary, I want to drop everything out of it, secondary, taste it. I'll let it sit for a minute, then I'll taste it, because once you secondary and move it, it's going to do another clearing.
It's if there's anything left, taking out and taking off the stuff at the bottom. If there's anything left, it'll continue to clear in secondary.
And then I can taste
most of that's
that.
your clarification step, your maturation step.
Find out how much. Find out, then I can.
Is it good?
I'll figure out how much I need to add, and then kill it with a double whammy.
Yeah, shut it down, and you're stabilizing it, and from there, it's really on your timeline.
Yeah.
I usually will do a sulfate sorbate combo 3 days before I want to package it, just letting everything do its thing
in there and let it meld and sit.
Yeah, and you can use Camden tablets. The other option is granular potassium metabisulfite, which I prefer over the Camden, just because the pelletizing agent and to hold it together, it doesn't dissolve rapidly, so it gets a little floaties of the Camden tablet kind of chunks on there. Usually by the time I use it, I've already gone through clearing and maturation, so that feels like a step in the wrong direction. So I use the granular potassium metabisulfite and sorbate, mix them a little juice, in the batch they go. And I try to do that 3 days before I package it, so I know it's had a chance to do its thing. I can add my sugar when I'm packaging it.
Okay.
If I'm back sweetening.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so that sounds better.
Yeah.
I can get on board with that. See, I've never done this with my ciders. I'm always I'm very Reinheitsgebutisch, so I'm purist. So I didn't add many of this other stuff to my ciders. I would just let them sit for a long, long time.
Well,
and I've never bottled them like I'm intending to this time. I would always do the keg.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that kind of oh, this is what my grandma did, or my parents' recipe. This is what they did. They didn't have this stuff, so I'm not going to use it. I'm like, man, I'll tell you what. Most of the stuff we do anymore in home brewing, whether cider, mead, beer, wine, anything else, we're really just mitigating for the shit that goes down. The things we know can happen.
Right.
I'm a big fan of preserving my labors.
Mom and Dad couldn't do that before.
They didn't have access to this stuff
for them to know.
Grandma would give her eye teeth to have a little pectic enzyme to make her cider clear for the state fair kind of thing. She'd be fucking rolling over Betty Sue, the fucking bitch over there who keeps beating her every year. She would have been. You would have loved it. We have more beer, don't we?
Next up is from Weldworks Brewing Company. Weldworks Brewing Company is located
over there.
Where is it?
It's a cool can with the hops on it.
It's a cool can. I can't tell which way I'm looking. Greeley, Colorado. Nice.
They got a beer scene over there too.
Yeah, Greeley.
Yeah, Colorado.
Colorado does. This is called Juicy Bits.
Juicy Bits.
Double dry hopped hazy IPA, citrus, El Dorado, and Mosaic hops.
That ought to be pretty tasty.
This is going to be another one of those
I've used that combination.
detective style beers for me. Find out. We know it's Citra.
Citra. I've used El Dorado. Citra and El Dorado go good together. Or Sacred Cow Cat uses Citra, El Morello, and El Dorado. Or hazy.
Yeah, I've used a lot of the El Dorado.
It's good. It's a tasty one. I'll log sit.
Amarillo.
Yep. Well, it definitely has the opacity. It is more opaque than the rice lager.
It is. It's a hazy IPA. Double dry hopped. Ooh, it smells really good.
Little blueberry mosaic-y notes on there. Oh, that's pretty tasty. It's definitely a more bitter version. What do we got here?
It's good.
Gives me the IBU, the 6.7% alcohol.
It's not bad for a IPA.
Yeah. I think it's a cool looking can. I like the hop
label.
art on there is very
it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's tasty.
It is good. I like it. It's definitely like a hop show. I mean, there's the malt backbone, like it's missing in action on malt.
See, I don't get that Citra, that flavor from the Citra. If so, Citra's not going to be. Citra's not going to be one of the culprits of that.
No, I think it's strong in the El Dorado department. Pretty like the aromas I get, like the mosaic comes through a little bit, but it's very much it's good, but it's very much it's just carbonated hop stuff. Like the malty,
there's no malt in it.
Yeah, no. I miss a little malt backbone.
No biscuit. Yeah. So how would you put more malt in that? You just put more like biscuit malt, maybe.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Munich.
Munich is going to sweeten it though.
And we've got
like the more Munich
70 IBUs to balance it, right?
Yeah, I want something a little more dry forward,
Well, that's kind of what I like about Munich is we get body, we get kind of that malt forward, like richness.
Yeah.
And there is some sweetness, but it's not like crystal. It's not like crystal malt sweetness.
No, not quite. But it's still the more you use the kind
a little Vienna. Vienna is going to give you a nice like crackery kind of finish on there.
That'd probably be the way to go.
Yeah, definitely like I've done that in like some light lagers, and it's like, man, that's like a saltine without the salt, like a unsalted saltine.
Unsalted saltine.
Yeah, and like almost like crack. Oh, that's good. That's fucking good. I
like that. I think those go well together, like a dry hop and a dry malt.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day.
I just like a little malt. I just like
everything's
a little backbone. I like a little balance to my beers.
You want the malty sweetness background,
right? Just to remind me I'm still drinking beer, and like I'm a hop fan. I like hoppy beers. It's good. It's a hazy. Would drink another, but probably not the way I would brew it for sure.
You would add more Munich. I would add more Vienna.
There you go. It's gonna be pretty good. Well, I'm excited for today's show. We got a little bit. I wrote this article on Hales Ale. This kind of like try to recreate a mystery beer or a beer lost to history. And it was kind of a fun little journey. So I'm excited to sit down with you guys and tell you all about it today when we come right back.
We'll be back in a few.
Stick around.
Good Beer 30. Thanks.
The Brewers step up to the kettle against their rivals, the Bad News Beers. GM signals a pale ale with a little Vienna malt to keep things light. An easy mash out for the Brewers. Next up in the order, the All-Star Hops making their way to the kettle. A little late change up, moving them down to a 10-minute edition. Here's the pitch. A clean American ale has this crowd drooling. 68 degrees of fermentation, and it's goodbye beer! Beer and baseball go together like hot dogs and buns. Hit your home run with Northwest Brewer Supply.
All right, Ben back from Beer 30 for sure. All right. So, you talked about this mystery box. What are we talking about on this? How much of a deep dive are we doing?
So it was the yeast descriptor for YE's 1332, and they got this like source or possible source, and it always just said a Northwest brewery. I'm like, well, man, I'm in the Northwest, and that was all it was. Okay. So that line kind of lived in my head for years, but I wanted a real answer. So I started doing a little digging, and some old articles, scattered notes, little snippets on forums, and it started all pointed to Hales Ale. And specifically their pale ale, the Pale American or American Pale Ale by Hales Ale.
Yep, the legendary beer.
Yeah, very good. And it turns out that was like the first pale ale in the state of Washington.
Yeah.
Hales Ale was the like
red, white, and blue.
Yeah, red, white, and blue can. It was fucking like I remember that beer.
Double-decker bus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sadly, the brewery's now closed. The website went dark, and the recipe is gone. And I didn't, and that's a bummer. Like, man, I didn't want to. I'm like, I'd done all this work. I didn't want the story to slip away.
Right.
So I decided to, do a little sleuthing. Yeah, do a little more sleuthing, and tried to brew that feeling and put a glass on the table.
Oh, glass. What are you hoping to get out of this glass? What do you want this glass to do?
So yeah, I wanted a weeknight pour, a clean, familiar little story inside. Inside something nostalgia, something a little nostalgic fan could get a nod
bring
to.
Me back to the to the good old days.
But also something like a new brewer could learn from. A casual drinker could finish it without thinking about it. I mean, just a little pint that kind of just welcomes you in. It was interesting. Like I did find like Hales Ale was like the third licensed brewery in Washington.
Wow.
And at the time of their closing, they were the oldest too. Like they'd survived longer. Mike retired and closed up shop, and like good for him. But it was a cool little thing they had going on.
Okay, do you know how many years ago they closed? Do you have any stories about drinking?
I did,
I've been in their tap room a few times.
Yeah, so I in the article I wrote for the blog on the Hot Break blog, nwbrewers.com, I believe it talks about that. I don't recall exactly sitting here today with you, but it was wasn't too long ago.
I think I remember walking in. You'd walk in the main entrance, and then the main bar was long, and it went along like the left-hand side, and that's where they would pour the beer from. And then you can get your beer, and then you can come and line up along like a circular bar with the big ceiling to floor windows where the
cool
all
facility.
brewed,
It was
where they
cool.
brewed
Yeah,
inside
the Seattle
there.
Brewery. It was cool. I don't remember much about like drinking it. Like I don't have like my own like notes of, I'm not that nerdy, but I definitely had kind of that vibe. So I was putting together. It's not really a checklist. I remembered that pale ale set, kind of right in the middle. It wasn't loud. It wasn't thin. It had a good body. Not a lot of, it wasn't flashy, but it was built for a pint glass. And man, it just drank really stupidly easy.
All right. Well, walk me through these clues that you're finding here.
So 3 words kept showing up in a lot of like Beer Maverick and some of those like beer ranking websites and stuff like that. We're talking about like a nutty finish, resiny, kind of grapefruit profiles. And of course I had the yeast clue, right? We narrowed it down through some forums like, it's Hales Ale, Mike Hale, like studied it, brewing in England. And and it's kind of divided on the story as like whether he was given permission to take their house strain or he secreted it out
under his fingernail.
Right, like in a cold pack in his sock on the flight home kind of thing. Either way it goes, it was definitely an English origin yeast strain. It has that same like fruity profile, little lower attenuation, like it's good. It's a cool yeast. So I was reading through like, I couldn't find any recipes, but I'd feel like old pieces on the brewery talking about how Mike Hayne, trained in England, talking about like open fermenters, and some of those English roots in this very Northwest pale ale. So I took kind of those signals and started just sketching a recipe based on that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Kind of like whittling it down.
Yeah.
So why Maris Otter at the base?
So Maris Otter, it's kind of one of those like voices, the notes I trust. I mean, it's got like a warm toast, biscuity edge. It's a really nice platform. It's got a little nutty hint. I mean, American Two-Row can work. It'll do the job. It plays clean. It plays with all the other kids in the pool. But I thought this project needed a little more tone in the malt, and some of that talk about the nutty finish. I'm like, well, that's a likely candidate. Maris Otter can give can give you kind of those profiles without being pushy about it.
Yeah. So what are you adding your victory for?
So that was kind of to turn up the nuttiness dial. I think a little bit of victory can give it a little boost to that. Not necessarily like hazelnutty, but it's definitely like, oh, that tastes nutty. And I've seen that in like small percentages without, if you go big on victory, you're going to get more bready kind of flavors, but just enough victory to do that. And like small doses, it'll do that. And it's nice. So I kept it light.
Good. Keep it light. Now, is there a room for Crystal 40? Where does this fit in?
Crystal 40, kind of
light
filling
crystal?
it out. Crystal malts were, really popular. So those English pale traditions, like
Give some
they
body.
had that body, that sweetness. Finish,
Yeah.
round, giving flavor, color, aromas. So, putting that kind of, sandwiched in between the Victory and the Maris Otter made sense to just get me into the color spectrum I wanted and the finish I was after. We'll talk about finish a little bit, but I was trying to do a couple different things with that.
Yeah. All right. So give the exact grain bill that
right.
you have brewed.
Yeah, so for a 5-gallon batch, 9 pounds of Maris Otter, a pound of Crystal 40, half a pound of Victory, and that's it.
That's it. Hops.
Hops.
You had 2 stories, or what? Holler Tower from the very early days.
Yeah.
Way back when, or Cascade from, later memory.
Yeah, one of like the history of the Hales Ales kind of
Tower.
thing. When they opened up.
I bet you they had Cascade.
Absolutely. So when I was looking at the history, one of the things they were talking about when they first opened, all they could get their hands on in any reasonable quantity was Holler Tower Middle Front. So it's like, well, we're fucking brewing with that. And that's a fine hop. It's kind of like the default, like psychologically, I think we're all born with an idea of what hops are, and it's defaults to like Holler Tower. Like, I think it's like the hoppy hop. It's not, it just screams hops.
That's the workhorse of the hops.
Yeah. But it's not known for some of these like grapefruity, resinous-y flavors. So,
Yeah.
I think in the history of like that pale ale is as Mike was able to get other hops and like add them to the repertoire, Cascade became an easy option for the pale ale, and some of those like flavor descriptors on like Beer Maverick and some of the other ones, like the later versions were probably Cascade, right? Even if the original one is Holler Tower, but just kind of a fun take on it.
Okay, so tell me where you're adding these hops in.
I kept it pretty simple, just 2 additions.
Okay.
Cough button. Mostly for, kind of simplicity's sake. I didn't want too many moves. I wanted to, moderate bitterness. Trying to chase. I wasn't trying to chase like a modern pale ale or, which can lean towards like almost session IPAs in terms of bitterness. I was, kind of sticking with sort of like its English roots a little bit. So I did an ounce at 60 minutes and another ounce of Cascade at 5 minutes, just for the nose, just give me those kind of like, no bitters, and that was it.
I want to talk about yeast.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, can you tell me what does the 1332 bring to the table
So
here?
1332, it is a classic like top cropping strain. So it would have fit into like the open fermentation that was done in the UK. A big foamy cap on the ferment. They would literally like skim that off for the next batch. That's kind of what top cropping is like. Eventually they would work into like, it's called a grant, and it would like that would all the excess overflow would excess into another sterile container, so they had a better collection. But in the OG days, the old OG days, they would just, oh look, we got some of that, and they'd throw that in another batch. So it's a expect a big foam cap on there, but it lifts some malty tones. It can finish like full bodied, a touch sweet at times, and I've used it in the past, and I was like, okay, that's pretty good, but it's a little less attenuated. I think it's like 72% versus like 1056, which is 76 or something. So can leave a little on there. Some friends of mine split it, like will combine 1056 and 1332 to round it out. This time I decided I would mash at like 150 to give it lots of simple sugars and see if I can trick it out. And it worked okay. If I was doing I could probably do the same thing with like dextrose, to keep it dry, because I liked it a little bit drier. I think my modern palate is used to a drier finishing beer. Some of the like the OG sweet ones. Like if I think about like the beers I drank in like 1999 and 2000, like there some of those were like cloying sugar bomb, like crystal malt bombs. Like you drank 4 of those and like your whole mouth was coated in fucking sugar, sugary sweetness kind of shit. And like apart from the bitterness, you couldn't taste any of the sugar, but it was there. And I think about those beers. I'm like, I wouldn't drink those today.
Yeah, there's not very many of those out there.
Yeah.
Not at all. Are we going to try to? Did Hales use open fermenters? Do you know of? And would we? I mean, if we're gonna make this beer,
I definitely did
try to
not
mimic that.
I definitely didn't on this run. I mean, I wanted to frame this beer more as like a memorial, not a replica.
Yeah.
So a clean, closed fermentation, it definitely fits the goal. Homebrewers can follow that without like special gear. You just you get the voice of the malt and the yeast, the hops. It's in there. I don't necessarily know that I need to do open fermentation.
Right, probably not.
Yeah, I mean. I'm way too paranoid for that. Personally,
that's probably a whole different setup. We need, we need controlled areas and all that to do that.
Yeah. I'm brewing at the shop, which is still just the same as your garage, kind of like
right
in terms of spaces and places. So
yep. So any tips for extract brewers?
So you can trade a small portion of your extract for dextrose. I think I mentioned that a minute ago. Maybe like a pound out and a pound in, like
just gonna boost up the ABV
because it's all
a little bit of dryness.
I didn't necessarily want to boost the ABV. I still wanted to stay in that like 4.8 range, easy drinking beer. So dextrose is almost completely fermentable, so I won't have some of like and particularly an extract tends towards a little bit more body than an all grain counterpart. Just for the manufacturing process. So goosing it with a little dextrose will dry it out a nudge. You can turn the volume down, as it were. Everything else, everything else is going to be the same. The steeping additions and hop additions are all going to be the same.
Right. Well, since we're talking about this, let's go through the whole brew day. I want to go from we're heating it to pitching the yeast.
Yeah. So strike water is going to come up to 160 degrees. I'm going to dough in and hold at 150. It's going to smell like bread crust and tea biscuits. You're going to Vorloff that, after an hour, you're going to Vorloff that until it runs clear and bright. Sparge to your pre-boil volume that you need on your system and boil it. Clean, nice rolling boil. First ounce of Cascade is 60, gives you a hoppy edge, and you're going to start smelling it in the steam. Timer ticks down with 5 minutes left. You're going to add that second 1 ounce charge of Cascade in there. And boy, I really love the smell of a brew house at this point. Flame out, turn the kettle off, chill that thing to pitching temperature, oxygenate, pitch your 1332, lid on, and you're done.
All right.
I mean, it takes like 4 hours, but you're done. Yeah, that's it.
That's
clean
good.
it. Fuck off.
Good rundown.
Yeah.
All right, now tell us about the fermentation.
Fermentation, a calm start, and I definitely saw like a strong creamy cap on that.
Oh yeah.
Temp held in that strain's comfort zone. I think I tend towards the mid range, often.
What's that? 69.
It's gonna be like a room, probably not 60, 68, 69, somewhere in that range for an English ale strain. Gravity dropped steadily. Airlock was singing its merry little lullaby to us. Smelled no off notes. It wasn't like a sulfury strain of yeast too badly. So
all right, now you got to figure out where you're gonna put it. What are we doing about tank management and how we're gonna
tank management? I just let this one ride. I didn't do any like hop teas or no fruit, no oak. I didn't do any dry hopping with it.
Right in.
Yeah, clean ferment right into
keg.
I think I cold crashed it before I hit the keg on there just to aid with clarity. And I kegged it. 10 psi, left it alone for a week, which is pretty typical.
Cool.
Yeah, you can do it faster, but I found you can, while you can hasten carbonation, you cannot hasten maturation. So I found right. I have found that just forcing myself in an extra week before drinking it, I end up with better beer. Period.
good. Sometimes I can.
Well, I'm thirsty every day. Like I got to do something someday.
Sometimes I'll cold crash in my keg.
Yeah,
I'll keg it and then cold
yeah.
crash, pull off the first. So tell me, how was your first pour? Walk us through that door.
So appearance, a light amber, kind of that orange hue on there, bright, dense white head. I mean, I pour with vigor. I want to see a nice thick head on there, and it was a nice lasting head. So I had good lacing. Of course, my lacing ends up like, oh, it's a half inch at the top, and they just turn into like, oh, you just slugged half that fucking glass in a sip.
That way I know how many sips I've taken.
Yeah, it's 3, right?
Yep.
how many sips does it take to get to the bottom of your pint glass? 3. If you're doing it right. So we definitely got some of that, like the initial taste. I'm like, that is very, naturally I'm thinking like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. It's kind of that same Cascade profile, like a sweet version of
a little bit
that.
of one, yeah.
Yeah, so it tasted good. Like it did all the things I needed it
Balanced.
to do. Yeah, it was pretty good beer. Got a little grapefruity, definitely those resinous flavors. Maris Otter, I think, was a fine choice with that one.
Sweetness from that, a little bit of that malt sweetness.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
And Victor, you're gonna give the nutty or
it was, it was just had like a nutty edge to it, and I'm like, and that kind of fit the description. It wasn't saying, oh, this is a nut beer or something like that, but it was like,
right.
Oh,
It wasn't like,
I could see
it wasn't
where
like totally like straw color, and you're looking for that dry, dry biscuit
I got
flavor.
resiny, I got citrus, I got nutty, and in a light colored beer, and
all of them balancing out.
Hell, pale ales or anything that wasn't brown, for crying out loud. So ambers are considered a pale ale.
It just hit me, Ben. When did you brew this?
I brewed this last April.
Oh, dang it!
Yeah,
all right.
I know, and I drank it all too.
I
I plan on brewing it again really soon. We'll talk about that in a minute.
All right. You talked about Sierra Nevada. How does it compare to Sierra Nevada?
Definitely like the same family of beers. I mean, the pale ale, the English pale ale tradition was, you could definitely see its lineage in those ones.
Pale Ale started with they had a Chico yeast and definitely Cascade, so it kind of had this dry, cardboardy.
It was a drier. The Sierra Nevada was a drier, and they have a hoppier version. I think they're like 35 IBUs, almost twice as many as the Hales. Because Hales was plugging in.
I don't want to
20.
say it's not cardboardy because it's not a flaw.
It's not oxidized. Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
It was definitely like crispier. Like the Sierra Nevada definitely leans more into like the session IPA camp of pale ales, the American, definitely, which is kind of like American interpretation of like, if the English has a good beer, we're gonna add more hops to it, and now it's an American version. Same with like American stouts are pretty fucking hoppy. So we kind of see that, and we're having conversations about beer because of Sierra Nevada. Like that is the truth of the matter. So I can see they're like, oh, they're fucking cousins. They're with Cascade, those similar profiles on there.
Right.
Yeast differences.
We haven't talked about the timeline of Hales, have we?
As far as like, other
when
than
they
like being
started,
like, they were the third brewery, so we're talking like 80s.
Yeah.
Or, maybe in like 79. Like it was back there, and
I around when Sierra Nevada was getting going.
Yeah, so I know like the seventh brewery in Washington was Bellevue, and they were only like the in terms of like total number of breweries across the country, it was sub 100 at the time. Like they weren't even, we're not even calling shit craft at this point. This is just micro breweries, like as in anything not macro or humongous. If you were running any size system that was smaller than 30 hectoliters, like you were a micro brewery at that point, right? Because it's all Molson Coors and fucking Michelob's and Heineken ruling the world, producing, more beers in a single shift than the total annual output of some of these small breweries.
Right,
and I did some of that math in that article. I was like, looking at comparing their brewery to like a big boy, like a Budweiser plant, down the road kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, Budweiser beats them in a single day. I was like, fuck, that's a lot of beer, man. Yeah. Orders of magnitude more beer.
Well, they're going out everywhere. I mean, the microbrewery can't keep up with distribution.
The two breweries that preceded Hales, they would close sooner. So by the time Hales did close, they were the oldest in Washington. I dug their. Do you remember their logo? Not their logo. Their kind of like brand tagline. It was think globally, drink locally.
Yeah,
you remember that?
Yeah,
fucking great stuff. I love that.
That was way before any of that was popular.
Yeah.
They were pioneers
absolutely.
in that sense.
You think about kind of like the history of the craft movement. It's all about like the rising tide of local beer raises all the ships in the local beer scene. Like,
yep.
One success in Hales benefited, the future Widmer Brothers and Sierra Nevada, and sort of that, like, we'll talk about Fritz Maytag of Anchor Brewing. We'll do another show on him. He's a pretty fucking fascinating character in
Fritz
beer history too. Yeah. But it kind of started with that guy. He just went around like fixing other people's breweries. Like, hey, your shit kind of sucks. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna help you fix it. We're gonna show you the way. And so that sharing of information, that community involvement, within your sector, is very much a part of that craft space that I fucking love. But we're getting off topic. We were talking about comparisons to Sierra Nevada. Yeah, both those beers you just want to drink more.
All right, sounds good. So, did you not run multiple batches for this, and why the confidence here?
Mostly ego. No, everything's sort of stacked up right. I've played with a lot of beers with Maris Otter. I've used Victory, Crystal 40. I know exactly what it does in how I don't necessarily know how it plays with all the other ingredients, but I was confident that grain bill would produce beer flavored beer. Cascade I've used 1,000 times. 1332 I've like I can see where the performance kind of lends and kind of where I was trying to tweak things in a maybe a drier finish direction. So that's my mash temperature adjustments and stuff like that. But I knew it was gonna be beer. I could not know that whether I was successful as far as a clone recipe. I have zero. I cannot produce a comparative sample to verify any of those findings. And even if I could, cloning a beer is fucking impossible. Like, there's no way to, like, you'll see clone recipes, but it's never the same. Hell, like even like flagship beers like Russian River's Pliny the Elder, they've released the real recipe. Like, this is what we do. Have fun. We know you're gonna make something good. It's never gonna be as. It's never gonna be ours.
Right.
Because everything we do in brewing is connected to everything we get. It's all connected. So right down to the nanosecond you throw valves, or the length of your hosing on from one vessel to another one, or the bit between your ears as a brewer. All of that makes a difference.
Yeah, just the steps of what you do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So my confident, was I confident it was going to be, beer flavored? Absolutely.
It's going to be beer flavored.
It's going to be beer flavored. Fuck it, man.
Is it going to be Hales Pale? Who knows? So where does Maris Otter fit into this whole story?
So that was kind of like a gut check. Maris Otter is kind of like the craft brew malt. It's a craft's little darling of malt. It was one of these, historical strains, coming out of the UK that was pretty much on the downturn. It was slated for like ceasing production on Maris Otter. And we're talking Maris Otter. That is a species of malt. It's a unique one. But the craft scene, or the micro brew scene at the time, a lot of those guys just love this malt. Say, no, you have to keep making it. I will buy more if you keep growing it and malting it. And that kept it off the chopping block, just because the craft sector wanted it. Now, as far as this beer, I knew it fit as a classic traditional malt, and given Mike Hale's background in the English brewing scene, I know he would be familiar with it. So it kind of felt like a natural, like, this is a good fit.
On this part, are you modifying your water in any way? Did you modify this?
I'm kind of lazy, so no.
Skagit Valley drinking water?
I don't mess much with my water. I mean, I have taken water reports, and so I know, like, let's start out. I don't mess with water all that much. I can easily manage for like chlorine, and since the calcium in my water is extremely low, I think it's like at 4 parts per million. I can be really heavy-handed with some like gypsum if I want to dial up hops. I don't have to worry too much about doing the math. Right? Like, oh, I'm at 4 parts per million. I can go up to 350. So fuck it. That's easy stuff.
Okay. Next is your carbonation target. How do you come up with that? I mean, Pale Ale is going to kind of tell you.
I was not going with like a traditional like cask finish at like 1.5.
Yeah,
so I was like
low.
mid like 2.3 to 2.5. Easy. I wanted bubbles. I wanted a nice rocky head that's going to bring the aromatics to my face, but not like so heavily carbonated that it's burning my tongue like like a soda pop.
It's burning through that, and it's burning through that cap,
Yep.
that foam. Yeah, you don't want that. So, what kind of a glass are we going to serve this in? And we are not going to serve it into a cold glass, right?
Oh yeah, don't freeze your glasses, kids.
Don't freeze your glass.
I don't know who started this one, but they were confused and misunderstood, and it really just wrecks your beer. I like mid 40s, low 50s. Is pretty for a quality beer.
Fridge temp.
Yeah, and for a quality beer, that's it. Like this ice cold rocky, like Coors is served at just above freezing because the cold temperature mutes your tongue and does not allow you to taste how awful that beer is.
Of course, that's why they wanted you to do it.
But so as far as like glassware, I think a shaker pint's fine. If non-ec pint, it's got that little lip around there to keep it in your hand. That one's cool. I love it. But pour it with vigor. You're not trying to do one of these like beer hall pours where it's like beer all the way up to the edge and no head. That's terrible for your beer. I want to see I like a thick head, like an inch to 3/4 to an inch of head on that beer is where I live.
Me, I'm about a quarter. All right. So, are you calling this what, like a memorial beer that you're like we're remembering Hales? Or are you calling it, or what? Why a memorial beer?
Yeah. So, like clone recipes, they claim it's a match, same room, same hands, same water. Realize it's impossible because you're not in the same room, you don't have the same hands, and it's not the same water. So, this recipe is more like an homage to the original. That brewery is gone. The recipe too. The website is no more. All of the equipment that they use, we don't know about, but their water in Seattle shapes that beer, the age of the hops, man. So I chased like a feel, a glass that could sit at the bar and sit at that bar and fit in, a faithful echo to that you can drink.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any feedback on this? How are people reacting? What are they taking?
So like the story was cool. It kind of hooked them. I sold a lot of beer based on, the blog post and that but the pint really kept him. It was like, it's a good pale ale. It's still a good recipe.
Solid.
Yeah. So easy, approachable beer. And that was the goal. We're just making beer you want to drink.
Right.
Yeah.
What would you change next run on?
I thought it might be a little bit. I might shave some of that late cascade of hair, or short, or maybe just to. I thought it was maybe a little too forward on the late, the Roma edition. I might turn it into like a, dial it back down to say like half an ounce, maybe at like 30 minutes, kind of the. There's a little more classic interpretations.
15, 5.
Yeah. I would
That'll
be
give you a little more flavor.
I would be
to
interested
it,
to do the Hollow Tower version. See how that plays, because that might be kind of fun. It's not a hop you reach for a pale ale. Yeah, but I think the kind of like that. You need more than an ounce for sure. But I think kind of that clean herbal. Lift in that a nice fine bitterness. I think it could play well. So that would be fun.
You're gonna completely strip this out and just only do Holler Towel.
I mean, Yeah, if I was gonna do the subs kind of that classic rendition, I would swap out Hollow Tower for the Cascade, not necessarily at the 1-to-1 ratio. I'd have to play with it to get the bitterness where I wanted. But I'd keep the skeleton. I'd keep kind of that structure, bittering edition, an aroma edition. But I would let the Hollow Tower do the heavy lifting. So no whirlpool, no dry hop, same carbonation, same everything else.
Okay. So other than hops, I mean, are you gonna do a mash profile? Would you do a mash profile adjustment? Maybe doing a little bit, lower in temp.
I might try like the little bit of dextrose, swap out some of that just to get a slightly drier finish, and it's just like it just needs a little edge more. Would be cool if I had it a little drier. Mm-hmm. I would like that, so I might try that one. But I'd keep I'm going to keep the hops, 1332. I got to keep that. That's kind of the star of the show, and that was the whole reason I got down this fucking rabbit hole in the first place. Is a famous Northwest brewery. Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, right. That's like, well, there's not. Yeah.
All right. You want to share a nice moment from that brew day? Let's see. When you think everything's on track and everything's going well, do you have any moments of that?
That when I threw in that 5-minute edition, like I was standing close to the kettle and like pull the head, the steam coming off that was really nice. I'm like, this is just gonna be tasty. This is gonna be tasty beer. You can kind of, the longer you brew and you start like tasting your boil, without burning your tongue, you kind of get to know like, oh, there's some cool flavors in here. I can see how these are gonna sort of develop. And you're in the grain room chewing on malts. You can kind of get an idea that way. You get some of those instincts. You're like, man, this is really good.
Okay. What about when you didn't think things were going well? Share a moment of doubt with us. During that process of your day.
The first pint, like the citrus aroma, like kind of that grapefruity aroma coming off of it. Like I had a big head because I was very excited to pour it, and I wasn't.
Oh, you were pouring vigorously.
Oh yeah, very vigorously. So I had a huge head, and that citrus came off it. And I'm like, oh no, that's not what I like. That's too much. But it calmed its ass down, and I was fine. Yeah.
So like in the very beginning, it was a little.
It was like the pouring with vigor.
I like that though.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about who want to repeat. For our listeners out there who want to repeat their run of doing this, give us a clean playbook right now so people can be concise. Maybe you write this down.
Yeah, grab your notepad, and I'll put links to the recipes in the show notes as well. But 5-gallon batch, grain bills 9 pounds Maris Otter, 1 pound Crystal 40, half pound of Victory. You're gonna mash at 150 degrees Fahrenheit for 60 minutes. Hops Cascade 1 ounce at 60 minutes. 1 ounce at 5 minutes. Yeast, Y-yeast 1332, except no substitutes. Ferment it clean, package with moderate carbonation. For extract brewers, you're going to use the pound of Crystal 40 and half pound of Victory. You're going to use 9.9 pounds of Golden Light extract. If you would like a drier finish, sub some of that extract for dextrose. And that's it.
Cool. How long before we get our first pint here?
I'll have to I'll have to go back and make it. I'll probably do the Hollow Tower version.
Okay,
yeah.
So if I make this recipe, how long before my first pint?
Oh, I'm a 3 to 4 week. And I package in the keg, so
where it's perfect.
Yeah.
5 weeks.
Yeah, right.
5 weeks.
Be patient. So
if you wait that long.
If you can wait that long, this hobby has been daily trying to teach me patience.
That's right. Okay, let's talk about packaging. Are we going bottles or kegs? What did you do? Did you just keg it?
Either one's going to work. I kegged it because I like kegging, and my kegerator holds a lot of beer, so
easy enough.
Great. Yeah, I set it, 10 PSI gets me 2.3 volumes of CO2. I got 5 feet of beer line. That's pretty well balanced. But give it time. Bottles are fine. Simple priming sugar addition, like an ounce of dextrose per gallon is going to be right in there. If you want to tweak it a little bit, use a priming sugar calculator. There's a brand new one on the website, nwbrewers.com/priming sugar calculator. Yeah, very cool.
Now, if you want to pair this beer with something, you know what I suggest to pair it with? Football.
Fuck yeah.
Because this is a pale ale.
Oh, baseball, because, the Mariners aren't going to be they're in the fucking playoffs, man.
Soccer?
Yeah.
Yep. Any sporting activity, man.
Even golf.
This is what it goes pair with.
But it would also work with grilled chicken and lemon, fish tacos. That makes me hungry. Fish tacos and a pale ale?
Wait a minute.
I haven't had dinner yet, so now I'm talking about food.
We're going Mexican lager with fish tacos. We're not getting a pale ale
fish
with fish tacos.
Like there's a lot there's a lot of good San Diego fish tacos too.
We're pairing here.
I said it tastes good. Damn it! I didn't say it was historically
better
accurate.
Than sports.
Burgers with onion jam.
Yep.
They'll go good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
See, I'm hungry. I'm just gonna eat it all. At this point.
All right. Let's talk memory versus recipe. What did this project teach you?
Memory wins. A full recipe does not guarantee the same beer. Water changes, hops age, fermenters have their own geometries and play weird. The hands on the valves do things differently. So I sort of stopped chasing the mirror and I started chasing kind of the feel. And the glass, once you get in your glass, that's going to trigger the right, the right mood, the right everything. That's the win for me.
All right. If somebody wants to receive their local classic of their own town,
Go back.
if somebody wants to revive a local classic in their own town, what's the steps?
Lots
Step one.
of homework. If you're on their website and you can see their grains, a lot of breweries will post their grains and their hops. They don't tell you their amounts, but here's kind of an easy way to think about that. If they list all of the grains, chances are very good that they list those in sort of an order of importance kind of way. So the number one ingredients is usually pale malt. Well, there's always more pale malt than victory at the end, so you can kind of rationalize. You can look at it's a pale ale, it's an IPA, or it's a stout, and structurally they kind of look like this and feel like this, so it's probably mostly 2-row, and it's got maybe a couple pounds of these dark malt, total. You can kind of make educated guesses about that. If you don't have any of that information, I looked at everything I could find. There were tasting notes on several different beer ranking websites, and I was circling or highlighting kind of what were the words they were using as far as was it a grassy finish, or was it herbally, or was it citrusy? And I think about, I thought about the era and what hops were available. So if you see lemon forward hops, well, if it's 1980, they didn't have this Pacifica, hop, right? So what was available? You got to look at what was the popular hops, and you have to eliminate anything younger than the year that you were doing. I took clues for this beer from the biographies of the brewer. Where they had taught, so what influences, could they have had? And so, choosing English malts for this beer, those sort of things made sense. If the beer you're trying to clone is very regionally specific, and maybe the maltster in your area, provided that you would kind of know those things. And maybe you didn't know that at the time, but through some homework, you can probably find that. So those kind of things.
Some old breweries were maltsters also.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you never even know. You never know what they were doing.
Right.
They're making their own. It's all right, Ben. Well, let's get wrapping up on this one. So tell me this. What did the research trail teach you about how these beers disappear?
I think I learned that some of these beers, they kind of fade in stages. The brewery might close today, but people are still talking about them for some time. Maybe their website doesn't go down right away because they've paid for it for throughout the end of the 5 years on the subscription. So it's just it's just something that kind of sits there. But sometimes just in a regular brewery that's operational. One of my favorites, Widmer's Burr, they just changed the recipe, and that the beer I loved went away.
Or they'll stop making the beer you love.
Yeah.
Just gone.
Yeah, Bodhisattva's, Johnny Utah Pale Ale, like that was a fantastic beer they don't make.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So why this matters to listeners is understandable to me, because we have one of a favorite one in Bellingham going away at Boundary Bay, and we're lucky. I think that it's going to stay and get contract brewed from another brewery here.
Yeah.
I think we're lucky for that, so it can stay alive.
At the very least, I think I heard their recipes are going to be released in public domain.
Yeah, well,
Cool.
hopefully we can use them. So,
Yeah.
Is there any other reason that this matters for our listeners?
I mean, you can't order a pint from a closed brewery, but you can brew a memory and you can share that, and you get to keep that story alive.
Favorite moment from this whole project? What's that?
My favorite moment was like the research, the writing, kind of telling the story has been kind of the favorite. Like the beer is good and I enjoy drinking beer. I love making it, but I've really enjoyed this conceptual idea, and then the story that I found within the research it's just been a lot of fun. So much fun. I had to revive it here for the show.
The detective trail of all this.
It was a lot of fun.
It's really good, and it's good to know that we can continue that recipe on.
Yeah. So we still got it at the shop.
So Hales named it Hales Pale.
They had the American Pale
Ale.
They had the American Pale Ale, and I called mine a Pale American Ale.
All right. There you go.
But I kind of I found I was able to sort of quasi recreate their font, and I had license for that font. So I was like, oh yeah, that's cool.
That's good.
Made a bottle label that kind of looked like it too. Yeah. Mine wasn't as glossy looking as theirs, but it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, cool. That was a cool place.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for the story, Ben.
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks for letting me tell it again.
Good researching, good detectiving. It's always fun. Thank you for listening here, everybody.
Yeah. Y'all
We
take
really
care out
appreciate
there.
you.
We'll talk soon. Cheers.
Thank you.